is schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a mental disorder when people hear voices inside their head.
Schizophrenia causes an imbalance of certain brain chemicals such as dopamine and makes it hard for a person to establish reality versus imagination.
Schizophrenia is mostly genetic, but it can also be caused by an overdose of marijuana.
People with schizophrenia hear voices inside their heads and often have mental disorientation and have hallucinations and delusions. An example of a hallucination is when someone sees something that is not real. An example of a delusion is when someone sees someone twice in one day and then accuses that person of stalking them.
So, doctors can prescribe medication to the patient, but usually the medication can cause horrible side effects like
Fever, high fever, other diseases, and your usual sickness.
So usually patients stop their medication, what they call cold turkey, which is
all at once.
Yeah.
And stopping this specific kind of medication, such as Senzine, is very dangerous, and most patients do not consult their doctor, but that can be very dangerous, and you should always consult your doctor before stopping any form of medication. And many people stop their medication because once they take the medication, their side effects, they have horrible side effects, so they want to have the side effects stop, so they stop taking the medication. And the medication also causes, again, low amounts of dopamine, so they never feel happy, and they want to feel emotion again, so they stop taking the medication.
And the medication leaves them feeling emotionless, so they seem withdrawn from the world. Some symptoms of schizophrenia are they seem, as I said earlier, they're withdrawn from the world, and it's hard for them to keep friends and stay on top of work.
This is a picture of two twins, one with schizophrenia and one is perfectly healthy. As you can see, these are their brains, you can see the difference, brain damage.
And then in this picture, you can see this guy hallucinating this other random person that's not actually really there. And then here is an example of a person's head, and inside they have all these weird emotions going on. So this picture is of the weird logic schizophrenic people have.
And then this picture shows how they're fighting themselves with the voices inside their heads. And this one shows how schizophrenic people have mental disorientation and disorganization in their brain, so they're often confused and unaware of what's going on, and it makes them feel very insecure.
And here's a chart of how many people have schizophrenia compared to everything else. So it's 2 times more common in Alzheimer's, which is when people usually forget. Then 5 times than multiple sclerosis, which is damage to the brain and spine, so it's hard for the person to talk and they feel numb. 6 times more than insulin-dependent diabetes or type 2, and 60 times more than muscular dystrophy, which is the weakening and loss of muscle and tissue.
So this picture is a guy passed out at a bar, and we chose this picture because people with schizophrenia often take up drugs, alcohol, or substance abuse, or they get schizophrenia from drug abuse. So many people take drugs and then get schizophrenia and then continue taking drugs, or have schizophrenia and then start up with drugs, and it becomes a very big problem for people with schizophrenia.
So here's just a picture of a brain, and over here you can see this girl with schizophrenia looks normal, but inside she's feeling really low, and she doesn't like it. And then this picture is an example of all the confusing thoughts in a person's head, where it's telling them to go multiple ways, but you obviously can't go everywhere. And this is the picture of The Scream by Edvard Munch, and although he didn't draw it of a schizophrenic person, we think it represents someone with schizophrenia because their mind is going crazy and they can't get it out of their head.
stop it.